I'm gonna get ulti here. Oh my god. Hey guys, it's Rek'sai, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play Rek'sai top. Last split, I was able to get masters for the very first time playing only Rek'sai top, and I'm going to show you how I did that. For runes, this is the setup you usually want to run. You can either change second wind to bone plating if you're fighting a champion that you think bone plating is better for, or you can change Absorb Life for Triumph. That'll help you in teamfights survive much easier. But Absorb Life makes it very, very difficult for the enemy laner to kill you. And make sure to take Ignite and Flash. The reason for this is the Ignite makes it so you're actually able to kill enemy top laners that you otherwise might not be able to kill, because you can actually surprise them with your damage from the Ignite and your missing health damage for ultimate. While unburrowed, you get 25 fury per hit against structures, champions, and jungle monsters. Then you can burrow into the ground to consume this fury and turn it into health. Pair that with mobility from tunnels, and you have a champ that's very, very hard to catch and very hard to kill. One of the downsides to playing topside is that whenever you hit minions, you only get 5 fury, which is 5% of your fury bar. Now this gives you a very, very minuscule heal, and to most people that would make Rek'sai top seem unusable. But there are a couple tricks around this. One is your unburrow and your bite will give you the full 25 fury from minions. And 2, you still get fury from a bunch of other sources, like monsters and champions and structures. So you can still use other things around the map to your advantage to get fury and health back. When you use your burrowed Q, it reveals the enemy champion to you for 5 seconds. Use this time to see where the enemy is going to go and recall, because you can use it as an initial way to stop their recall. And then you can find where they're going to recall again, because within that 5-second period, usually they will start their recall again and you can snipe them again, even though they think they can't be seen by you. Make sure to use your Q as a way to remove bone plating before fighting. While you're in your burrowed form, you lose access to auto attacks. Instead, you auto attack and it unburrows you. So your unburrow is an ability and an auto attack. So it can be blocked by Jax, E, but it can also be silenced. So while you're in the ground, you can perform an auto attack if you're silenced, and you will stay on the ground. So be very, very careful of champions like Blitzcrank or Soraka or Cho'Gath that can silence you in a moment's notice and make it so you can't get your unburrow off or do anything else. You're just locked into this weird little underground auto. If you pair your W with your E, so the mobility from the move speed of your W with the mobility from the dashes with your E, you are very, very mobile, and you can use that to your advantage. So make sure to go around the map when you can and help your mid laner, help your jungler, get wards, whatever else you can do, because you can really afford it compared to other champions. Set your tunnels up for escape or into the jungle to roam, or back to lane, or if you're playing aggressive in lane especially, make a tunnel so if you get ganked, you can reuse it into an actual tunnel use. So you can tunnel once with the pre-made tunnel, and then tunnel again with the one you have that's not on cooldown. You can also use your tunnels as a semi-Tristana jump, where you can buffer stuns. So things like Braum passive or Fiddlestick Sphere if you time it right, or Handy Stun, or a lot of other stuns and things of that nature, you can use to your advantage by buffering them with your E. Keep in mind, this does not work if you are being knocked back or knocked up or pulled in, so any displacement kind of ability will not work with this trick. You can use your above ground Q as an auto attack reset, so you can auto Q and it'll let you get off damage a lot faster. It can also be very helpful for helping the jungler with Rift Herald and Grubs, because it's really good at taking objectives like those two things, Dragon and turrets. It's very nice for turrets because it shreds them and it gives you bonus attack speed to help you shred through those turrets. So if you ever left alone in lane and let's say your enemy laner left, then you can attack the turret pretty proficiently even though you are building tank. Immediately when you press W and go into the ground, it gives you a heal and then you consume the rest of your fury. You can use that. It's a very minuscule heal compared to the whole thing because that's only like a quarter of the full heal. You can use that to your advantage to catch enemies off guard if you're really low. You can buffer your W, the burrow, with getting CC'd. So let's say you see an Urgot coming at you and you're above ground and he's using a Z, he's coming at you, and you're like, oh, I can't stop him. You can press W right before he hits you. And so you get in the ground, and if you do that at a good time, you will be going into the ground as you get stunned, and you can get your heal off that way. And then you don't have to waste the time once you're finally not stunned to go into the ground. So it actually saves you about like half of a second during that fight, and gets that heal off while you're stunned. So it is quite useful for you. You can use this for things like Jax E, or Urgot E, Set E, like a lot of things you can use this for. It's a very good trick. So now your bite does increased damage when you're at full fury, right? You can use your bite as a way to get fury from minions, but if you're looking to use your bite as a way to, hey, I want to hit this guy with the full damage of it and deal a good amount of damage, then you can do that as well, right? Couple issues with that is when you have fury decay, it decays by 20 fury at a time, not 25. Let's say you're at 100 fury, okay? And then let's say you decay down to 20 and you hit the enemy 3 times. So you get 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus the 20 you had before it fully decayed. Okay, that puts you at 95 fury. Then you bite because you assume, oh hey, it looks like it's 3/4 of the way there. When I bite them, when I auto here, then when I bite, boom, I'll have full fury. And it's just an instinct thing, and you do it, and then you don't have full fury. That can happen. Also, if you are hitting minions with auto attacks and you get a weird amount of fury that's not 25, let's say like 5, 15, 20, whatever, then that can also happen. So be careful of that and make sure you're watching your fury well. You can use your bite as a way to buffer stuns as well, just like I explained with the W, and I also explained with the tunnel. So you can buffer with W, you can buffer with E, and you can buffer with your tunnel. So in a lot of situations, you actually have a lot of counterplay to getting stunned to save you time. Your ultimate does missing health damage, right? In lane, make sure you whittle down enemies and get to a point where you can use your ultimate as a way to finish them off. That's just top lane Rek'sai. Outside of lane, I like to use it in team fights as a way to secure a kill. You see an enemy that looks like they're trying to flash away, right? And your teammate's about to finish them off. Ult them at the very last moment to see, let's say, if they flash or do something else. And if your ally kills them, then they get the kill. That's fine. You are okay with that because you're a tank. But if not, and the enemy gets away, then you've successfully killed them with your ultimate. And the reason I do this so much is because your ultimate, when cancelled, goes from its full cooldown to a 10-second cooldown. So like the cancelled version only gives you 10 seconds. Unless you like go in the ground then come out of the ground, then it goes full on cooldown. But that's like more of a timing thing that I like to do personally. You can use your ultimate as an engage. I wouldn't highly recommend it, but you can. But mostly it's there for finishing off enemies, or in some scenarios if you want to dodge skill shots with the ultimate, since you get invulnerable for a moment. That is also a very nice thing I like to do. If I see like a Riven coming at me and she's about to use Q3, and like I already have an R on somebody, and like let's say they're half HP, even though I know won't kill them, I will go for it because A, I'll deal a bunch of damage with the missing health damage, and B, I'll dodge the Riven and screw her over slightly. That's the main case scenario for me using it. Here, I'm just going to show you the generic Rek'sai combo that I like to use. It's basically just the regular Rek'sai combo, but I add an auto attack at the end. Here's the normal version, which is a sped up version that if you're trying to get damage out really fast, this is what you should do. And this is my sped up version with the auto attack before the ultimate, just to show you guys. Here are some general tunnel setups that could be quite useful for you. Setup tunnels. Escape tunnels. Aggressive tunnels. Ganking mid tunnels. Tunnels back to lane. Every game, you want to rush Bomby Cinder into one of its parent items. Versus AP, go Hollow Radiance. Versus AD, go Sunfire. Make sure for your second item, go whatever resistance you are missing. So either Spear Visage or Randuin's Omen or Thornmail, depending if you need Heal Cut or crit resistance. Let's say you're in a situation where you fight an AP champion, but then you realize, hey, their whole team's AP. Then you can build Hollow Radiance, and then you can build Spirit Visage for your first two items. But that's a very rare instance where you build the same resistance. So most of the time you'll be going Sunfire to Spirit or Hollow Radiance into, let's say, Thornmail. Third item, you will be feeling a lack of damage, so you will build Titanic Hydra for the surprise burst with its active. Plus, it's on-hit scaling with your already built health. Then go Overlord's Bloodmail for even more damage and even more health. Lastly, make sure you build War Mugs. If you get that late into a game, it will provide more to everything you've previously built that is health related to a very large degree, plus the move speed and the passive. Let's talk about Rek'sai's early game. Keep in mind, Rek'sai is quite vulnerable early game, so play until the point where you can get bombies and you have a good heal through your passive. You want to start W level 1 to defend yourself from the enemy and build Fury on minions and the enemy while stacking up Grasp. This is very important because a lot of champions like Darius or Set will try to contest you level 1, so you will be able to get Fury from their trade and also defend yourself at the same time, and you can mitigate the damage they deal to you with the heal since you can burrow. Most of the time the enemy will have priority for the wave, so it is okay to back up after your first trade and let them push to you. Your main point early is to get to a point where you can cycle your heal from your burrow and unburrow to where you can drain their mana or their health. If they let you do so, play to a point where they are 35% HP or so depending on the enemy champion, and pick a fight in melee range without using burrow if they are also melee. And you can use your acquired health advantage through your passive plus ignite and tunnel to ensure they are doomed. For champions like Gangplank specifically, or Fiora, or champions that don't have good high base stats, especially early game, you can play to a point where they're a little bit higher HP or at 35%, but champions like Garen or Set or Darius, things that, champions that have good like mitigation or have high base stats, you want to make sure they're around 30 to 25% HP, because it's really hard to kill them at that point. Even then, versus range matchups, you need to survive until Bomb is Cinder, and then your heal can become quite overwhelming for them. If the ranged top laner starts to poke you, you need to make sure you engage with Tunnel when you have Bombies to contest their aggression and build off Fury for that engage. Fall back, heal, unburrow, get more Fury from minions, rinse and repeat, okay? Your ultimate is very powerful as a finisher, so a lot of matchups you can use that versus range, especially to surprise them for damage, because they won't expect a tanky champ to do that much damage with one ultimate. Rek'sai's mid-game. Play for your team, shove waves, and use the move speed from your burrow form plus tunnels to get to fights before they happen. Make sure you are watching the map to see when your team is positioning for a fight. This is very important so you can get there in a timely manner. But make sure not to fall behind on farm. If you are useful for team fights as a tank that has good engage, but if you are too squishy because you didn't farm, you won't be much of help. Play for objectives, play for your carries, and make sure they don't die, or if they do, the enemy loses more because you are guarding them. When topside creeps into late game, she loses her value in fights, but you still have a few key things: engage, tankiness, slipperiness with tunnels, and peel. This makes you become a knockup bot on repeat, so try your best to direct your team to close out the game earlier. So again, play for objectives, team fights, carries. If you let the game go on too long, you will notice that Rek'sai will be increasingly more hard to play compared to the other champions in the game. So that's why it's best to close out the game while you can and exert your lead in the mid game that you got from the early game. I'm gonna list you guys some matchups that you should watch out for and play a little more careful towards. So we got matchups like Darius, Mordekaiser, Gwen, Quinn, Vayne, and Rumble. Personally, I ban Vayne because out of all those champions, she's the most difficult to play against. And these are the matchups I usually have a lot of success in, which are Olaf, Yasuo, Yone, Gragas, Trundle, Fiora. And here are some matchups where you really can't kill them a lot of the times, so you will consider taking TP instead. Things like Shen, Malphite, Maokai. But if you are confident that you think you can kill these champions, like personally, I think sometimes I can kill Malphite. It just depends on the Malphite player. A lot of times I will still take Ignite just to see if I can break through the Malphite player and play around my jungler and topside really well. Even though she isn't the most conventional top laner, Rek'sai can still exert pressure in a meaningful way if you play your cards right. I hope I have shined some light on some of my thought processes on my method of playing topside, and I want you all to have fun and have a good one.